Hello, it's your boy Sas May. Today, I'm doing a UFC video. Haven't done a UFC video in a long time. The reason I'm doing a UFC video is because my Asian dad just came up to me yesterday and is like, "Hey boy, you haven't done a UFC video in 12 years. If you don't do a UFC video, I'm gonna smack your ass." Pew! He proceeded to hit the back of my neck. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing a UFC London pros and cons. I just forgot that I had this type of series I could do. So I guess I know it's a day before, but no one's gonna bloody watch it. But I guess you can maybe see the pros and cons of some stuff. You get me. So first of all, Lerone Murphy versus Marcel Evlev. This is a very close matchup. I still do not know who's gonna win this one. It's very close. I hope Lerone Murphy wins. But if Lerone Murphy wins, he'll be the first black guy Volk has ever fought. Volk obviously never fought a black guy before. So yeah. And if Lerone Murphy wins, he'll be the second black UK fighter to fight for the title. And if he loses, he will not be undefeated anymore. If he loses, I think he should fight Gene Silver. Fuck. If he loses, I think he should fight Gene Silver because that would be a banger matchup. And I think there might be a little bit of shit talk. Or he should fight the Sterling Yusuf Zalal winner. And if if Marcel Evlev wins, then he could become the champion because maybe Masvidal just will out wrestle Volkanovski in a 145 if out wrestle Volkanovski. You can't just say, oh, Volk did well against Islam in the first fight, but Masvidal has a different style to Volk. Masvidal was a heavy pressure wrestlers and try to get you tired, but Islam was there to strike with, like, to basically be an MMA fighter against Volk. And if he becomes champion, it'll suck, man. We don't need another Dagestani who's going to wrestle and get 5 title defenses. No offense to you guys, but you guys are just bloody overpowered. And if also Volk could get the opportunity to beat a Dagestani finally, because that'll be a beautiful story for Volk to run off in the sunset. It'll actually be a beautiful moment, unlike that Taporia moment. And it was another beautiful moment when he beat Diego Lopez for the second time, 50-45. That was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. Not my life, but basically my life. Yeah, he'll get the opportunity to beat Dagestani again with that revenge, and everyone will bloody love Volk more than they already do. He'll be the first 145 Dagestani to fight for the title. And if Marcel Evlev loses, he'll lose his both his fights are defeated. So it's a very interesting matchup. And then yeah, should fight Gene Silver or Sterling Zalal winner. Then Luke Riley. Luke Riley's a future star. I think he's bloody knockout Steven as well. He did this, like, I'm telling you guys, bet your money on Luke Riley. Like, if you guys lose your money, that would happen because Luke Riley's gonna knock out Steven as well. I don't care what you say. You could get closer to fighting Kevin Vallejos because I think Kevin Vallejos and Luke Riley, they're scheduled to fight, but they also can't be talking shit to each other on Twitter and stuff. And one day that could be an absolute banger matchup. And SD will make their music. If you guys don't know, Luke Riley is SD Kid. So if when Luke Riley gets knockout, then you're gonna start seeing some SD Kid music being released and stuff, because Luke Riley is literally SD Kid. And if he loses, he won't get fast tracked, because I feel like if Luke Riley, the UFC know how good he is. I think if Luke Riley gets a knockout, he's probably gonna fight a guy just outside the top 15 or someone in the top 15. I think they're gonna try to fast track Luke Riley because they know how good he is. And yeah, but if he loses, which it's not gonna happen, then he'll have a slower progression towards the top 15 or stuff like that. Yeah. Then Michael Van Page. If Michael Van Page, I think it'll be a highlight reel win. It'll be absolutely bloody brutal. because MVP says he's gonna be more aggressive this fight, and he's gonna look for the knockout. And if he wins, he should fight a top 5 middleweight or welterweight. Some of these guys, I think, maybe should fight Joaquin Buckley in welterweight, maybe Rodriguez Duplessis, maybe Israel Adesanya, maybe Spider-Man. Why did I say that? Spider-Man is in the top 15 of the middleweight or welterweight division. But like one of those matchups, who else is a cool welterweight? It would be cool if Sean Strickland loses or something. Sean Strickland versus Malcolm Page. I don't know. If he loses, that'll be one of the dumbest decisions about the UFC, because this is first a very dumb matchup. Made no sense how this matchup was made. Sam Patterson and Malcolm Page, both for training partners, first of all. And second of all, who the bloody hell is Sam Patterson? No offense to Sam Patterson. Like, why is Malcolm Page should be fighting a top 5 middleweight or welterweight? And he'll be salty at the UFC if he loses this fit as well. Because he's already kind of salty at the UFC. Like he said in his press conference thingy. Well, he was annoyed that Luke Riley was above him in the card. And also, I think Malcolm Page has been saying some things and questioning the matchmaking and stuff. If he loses, he's just going to be very salty at the UFC, and that could be a bad relationship, which makes the UFC look bad. Because like for example, who's a guy who the UFC did not say the UFC screwed over? I can't really think of a name now. Like Ronda Rousey or something, for example. Now Ronda Rousey did get treated well. I don't bloody know. But like for example, Ronda Rousey, some things in the UFC, she didn't like how her career got treated. And now she's saying some bad stuff about the UFC, and then some like casuals are like, oh my god, Ronda Rousey is so bloody right about everything. That makes the UFC look bad. And then if he loses, he won't be able to fight a top 5, because I don't think he's gonna lose. But if he loses, then like he loses Sam Patterson, you can't just bloody fight Israel Adesanya Rodriguez Duplessis next. Maybe you can, and maybe Adesanya if Adesanya loses. And Sam Patterson will go from getting slammed out from Yamilish moves to being one of the greatest strikers in history. He got slammed out by Yamilish moves in his debut, I think. And then he's going from getting slammed out from 5'7" Yamilish moves to being able to hang on the feet, or be able to survive and beat one of the best strikers in combat sports history. It'll be kind of crazy. So yeah. And the Christian Leroy Duncan, I think he's gonna beat Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze is a gatekeeper for prospects. But the Christian Leroy Duncan wins, he'll enter the top 15 or 10. Or that he should, yeah. And he'll finally fight a top level guy, because Christian Leroy Duncan has been a prospect. Like a prospect who's like been kind of silent, kind of putting their head down in the trenches. Why did I say that? But like a guy who the casual fans don't really know, but is a prospect, and he's had some great spinning elbow knockouts and stuff like that. So he's a guy who is marketable and will become a fan favorite. And if he loses, it'll be a big setback. He's like one of those guys who, I think he had to win 6 fights against guys who don't really know the name of. It's like some fighters like Diego Lopez win 3 fights and then they get given a title shot against Volkanovski, and some fighters have to win 10 fights in a row just into the top 15. Christian Leroy is one of those fighters that has to win 10 fights in a row to get top 15. And if Roman Dolidze, why did I say wins? That's a mistake. But if Roman Dolidze loses, nothing bloody happens. If Roman Dolidze loses, you're still gonna wake up in the morning, and the sun's still gonna rotate around the earth or something like that. Nothing changes in a simulation or reality or an alternative universe. If Roman Dolidze wins, it's just like Roman Dolidze is pretty much NPC. No offense to Roman Dolidze. Now this is a banger matchup, but I think Lieutenant Keita is gonna knock out Nathaniel Wood, unfortunately, because Nathaniel Wood is chinny. He does get hit a lot. And the Syndicator has just crazy power. I'm very excited to see how the Syndicator is going to be in the UFC. But if Nathaniel Wood wins, he'll be in a 5-fight winning streak. Like, he's won 4 fights in a row and got the top 15. And like, I swear his record in his last 8 fights is like 7-1 or something. 6-1. 6-7, I guess. Yeah. 6-7-1. So that means like, and he still hasn't got a top 15 opponent, but Diego Lopez has buddy beat up a baby, and then he gets given a title shot. But let's be grateful that Diego Lopez 50-45 the guy twice. And if he loses, it'll be very sad, because I think if he loses, he's gonna get slammed out, unfortunately. And then Nathaniel Wood's soul's gonna leave the octagon, unfortunately. But the Syndicator. But yeah, also if he loses, is like kind of his career's over, because like he's gonna have to win 3 more fights to just get a top 15 opponent and stuff. By then he's gonna get knocked out and be old, stuff like that. So yeah, this Nathaniel Wood's career has been pretty unlucky. And the Syndicator wins, he's a future star. Yeah. He's pretty big in like Belgium or European MMA scene, and he could be like there hasn't really been a Belgian fighter in the UFC. So if the Syndicator starts getting wins, starts getting his name known, that'll be like the first Belgian fighter. Belgian fighter. Belgian fighter. From Belgium. In the UFC. And if he loses, he could get close to getting cut, because he's supposed to fight some guy in I think it was UFC France, but he missed weight. So if he loses, then like, I don't know, UFC might not, maybe the relationship isn't the best, maybe they might cut him or something. That'll be pretty sad. And then Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. If Mason Jones wins, he'll be on a 3-5 winning streak, and then he should get a top 15 opponent. Mason Jones, one of the most entertaining fighters to watch in the UFC, literally a marauder. You could beat him up, and then he's gonna find a way to win. He's gonna start out wrestling you, bloody start hitting you in the face. Well, that's what all UFC fighters do. But it's like, yeah, he'll start hitting you, like, what you're gonna be beating up, and then you're gonna get tired, and then he's gonna start beating you up. And if he loses, he could never reach the top 15. Yeah, just one of those guys who just can't bloody get in the top 15. You could bloody bloody beat a polar bear, and you still won't get. Some guys still won't get in the top 15. And if Axel Sola wins, his upcoming prospect is French, and I guess there'll be another French a top contender or prospect. And France is cooking in MMA right now. And they're not just cooking ratatouille, but they're actually cooking MMA prospects and stuff like that. If he loses, he won't be undefeated, because he is an undefeated fighter. And then fights I want to win, I was too lazy to make it for all of them, but this guy, Curtis Campbell, this is Paddy. We have Paddy Pimblett at home. Literally, he's from Liverpool and stuff. He wears pink shorts. He sounds like Paddy Pimblett, and he's a very handsome guy. No, seriously, he is very handsome. Iwo Bareski or something like that. Oh yeah, he's 7-0. He had the crazy fight in his last fight where they just had a bloody war. It was with that Turkish guy. And if he wins, I guess it's another heavyweight prospect. Or is he? I think he's light heavyweight. But it's like another Polish light heavyweight or a Polish heavyweight prospect we can be looking forward to. The fun scraps. Mario Pinto, he's funny on the mark. He's also a heavyweight prospect. And I guess these guys are the future of heavyweight. Louis Sutherland, if Louis Sutherland wins, I don't blame no. I just want him to win. He looks like he can uppercut a bloody statue and he'll be flying. Like, this guy is not the guy you want to mess with in a bar or something like that. And then Shamrock is an entertaining personality on Jaden Cable's channel and stuff. He does the predictions with Cedric Dumas and Terrence McKinney and stuff. And he's a pretty funny guy, very entertaining personality, likes to talk shit and stuff. So hopefully, if he's a fighter, I don't know how good he is, but if he actually becomes a top 15, top 10 fighter, he'll make the UFC more interesting. So that's the voice last for me, and yeah, I'm very excited for UFC London. So it's a very good card, very hardcore. Yeah,